mother and my daughter. Sending a text and saying that there's some kind of money going through 400 and something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to delete, don't respond to any of it.
I told him to delete it.
Just so scary though, because you think, what if I'm doing something wrong? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I sent the message, my daughter sent it to me, I sent it to John Merchant.
Okay, it's 5:35, I can call the new order. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. States of Okay, we're going right through, down to the consent agenda. Brad, is there anything you wanted to add to this or any details?
No, nothing I would add, just, we had the minutes for appointing Kendra Aldridge to the vacant library trustee position, and to reappoint Leland Hanson to a full term from the library trustee position. Those were the only additions today.
I would entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Not Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Nothing under old business, so moving on to new business. Item 1, Olson agreement. Okay.
So when we went into contract with Olson Engineering for the Northwest Stadium project, originally that was done in April of 2022. That was for an 18-month contract. The project has had a lot of delays and we've had to extend the timeline of that project. So this extension is just it's kind of a step that was missed throughout that whole process, where we need to update that agreement with Olson so that we're still in contract with them for their engineering services. This does not cost the city anything. They're not talking about any additional dollars for this. This is just extending that timeline so we can finish this project up.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended owner-engineer agreement with Olson at no cost to the city and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve the amended owner and engineer agreement. Any further discussion? Not Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving on to item 2, Brad, since Stacy's not here.
So we opened bids for the Parks and Rec tractor on March 21st. We got 4 bids. So what this tractor is they use this tractor for the maintenance of the ballparks mostly. They can use it for any of the parks, but really it's really kind of specific for the ballparks. That lease with our current lease, we signed the equipment ends April 1st. And the year we talked about that was $4,500. We had 4 bids come in. The low bid on this is Hiawatha Implement for a John Deere for $4,984.11. I talked to the Parks Department today. They came in and reviewed it, and they're more than happy with going with a low bid on this one. So my recommended action is to approve the lease of the Parks and Rec tractor from the Highland Implement at a yearly cost of $4,984.11.
You know how many hours are on the one that we were leasing?
I don't.
A lot of money we spend it every year for a lease. I can't imagine that they're putting that much time on it. Do you know how many years the last thing? I don't recall it at all, to be honest. I don't know.
The last lease was a 3-year lease. And what I discussed with the Parks Department today was if this is a piece of equipment that we're going to use, like I said, I don't have an idea on how many hours that they actually have on the tractor that we have now. I know that we did use it for some airline property mowing as well, so I'm sure that went into it too, but my suggestion was That was a lot. So right now, the payoff on the one that we're giving back to Skyview is about $20,000. And so that would be the payoff at the end of this lease period. The payoff at the end of the lease period for the one that we're going to lease is going to be very similar. It's gonna be between $20,000 and $30,000. I would suggest that if we go into the future, if we're comfortable with what we're doing, we can either lease it or we can purchase it at the end of the lease. Either way, we have a few options there to really kind of, but what I do know is that for at least this year, we don't have the budget to, for me to say we could purchase that tractor, but you know, I just don't have a lot of information on how many hours we have. I guess I'm good with it.
So if we did that for 3 years and then purchase it, you're still looking about what the price is gonna be if we just bought it outright now.
That's correct, yeah.
Well, not besides the lease money. You know, you look at
That's right.
$20,000 plus $15,000 in lease money.
Right, so you're still under what the new price is gonna be. I mean, if we bought it right now.
Well, I'm talking about just buying the one that we've been leasing,
Yeah, I mean,
$20,000. That's,
so that also is an option. There is an option to buy the one that we have for $20,000.
Do we have that in the budget for now? Because I know you talked about just waiting to budget, I mean, to budget for this in the 3rd year.
Not for 2025.
Looks like we specified 350 hours. And the one they're proposing is 300 hours, is that?
Yeah.
Hours, yeah, I guess you don't know the hours.
I don't have any, I know that Brad Siegel didn't have the issue with that. I think he even thought that 350, I think we went off of our old lease on that. And I don't think that we've ever put 350 hours per year on that.
Are we required to take it to Skyview or John Deere maintenance?
Yes, I believe that is part of the lease.
yeah, I mean. My problem, it's almost $50 an hour that while we're running it, and that's just going off of if we maximize 300 hours in 3 years, and if you don't think we've ever even hit that,
Not per year.
yeah, it's pretty, I'm just saying it's pretty pricey, and if we're only putting that many hours on it, we can't justify leasing this, we need to get something bought and just have it done with. In my opinion anyways. It's $5,000 a year, every hour we're running this, it's at least $50 an hour.
There's also a purchase option, like I said, we can purchase one that we have. Or there's also a purchase option on the tractors that were bid as well, so we could really kind of go either way there.
Is it a front end assisted, or are we upgrading or anything just because?
Yeah, the horsepower is more than what we.
That's for the payoff after 3 years would be 21,000.
It's somewhere in that
Yeah.
range, yes.
Well, like I said, and we don't have the money in the budget now, so then we need to plan for. And I would imagine we need to have a tractor,
Yes,
football diamonds and such.
yeah, it is a piece of equipment that does.
Are we able to finance out the rest with that deal?
As part of a lease purchase, I mean, we probably could finance the rest of that out. This is something that we could look into. Bring it back.
I
If that's the way that direction you want to go.
I will apologize for not making a phone call about this, because I didn't see it, to be honest. I wish I would have had a little more information. So just me, I would like to have just a little bit more information, like how many hours are on the rig that we have now. If we can finance, if we have any options of actually just buying this one out and being done with it. Because if we can finance this out, this lease would almost pay for our tractor and we'd be done with it in 3 years versus having to come up with another 20,000 on the 4th year. So I don't have a problem either way, but I would just like a little bit more information if we can to make a better decision on what to do. But either way, even if we if we do go with this one, I think it would be good to, we need to figure it out, how we can just get it bought and be done with it, because $300 is nothing on a machine like that. But that's just not enough hours, we should be able, we'd have that paid for and be running it for almost 10 years and still not even have 1,200 hours on it, so. We just need a little better option.
So then we just need to table it until the next meeting for you to bring back the,
That's fine.
we need a motion for that now?
Yes, please.
I entertain a motion.
I'll just make a motion to table the approval and lease of the park and Rex tractor for Hiawatha Implement at a yearly cost of $4,984.11. Is that good enough?
Yeah, just table until next meeting. Any decisions? Second.
Then moving second to table any decisions until the next meeting. Any further discussion? Not, none.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.
Is there any expiration on that? I don't know. I was checking.
It would have to go by what the lease, how long their, bid lasts. For us, no, but if their bid is only 30 days. then-
So we should be okay.
Yeah,
We should.
depends,
Right,
right,
I
they
think-
said, exactly.
Okay.
Moving on to the next item,
So, as part of what I've been doing, I went around and I know that there's been a lot of problems with the concrete in the pool for a number of years, especially on the north side of the pool. We have a large section of the north side that's kind of on the 4-foot end. It's settling and it's pulling away from the pool. And so what this is causing is, if you walk along it, you can actually look down at the cracks, you can see voids. You can get in the pool, you can kind of go on the 4-foot, north side of the 4-foot wall, you can knock on it, you actually hear the hollow spots behind the concrete there. And so what we need to do there, we need to completely replace that, section of the pool. The pool is right around 25 years old. They expect pools to last anywhere from 40 to 50 years, depending on condition. Really, for the most part, the condition of our pool is in pretty good shape. We have some cosmetic issues that we have right now, with some broken concrete, especially around the guttering as well. I know that causes a lot of problems. I mean, kids can cut their feet on it, things like that. You know, we have some cracked concrete, especially it's a decking that really has a lot of problems right now. We have ARPA funds available for this project, and so what I did, I got with J&B Contractors. We went out there to look at it, got a quote back from J&B Contractors for the work that needs to be done at the pool. And he was able to come up with quite a bit of concrete work that needed to be done. But really what is concerning right now is about $46,830. And so what this also does is this gives us an opportunity. There's been, the Hiawatha swim team has had a disadvantage for years because we don't have diving platforms in our pool. The concrete on the north side of the pool it's not strong enough to hold those diving platforms. And so I got with members of the swim team board and just to kind of brainstorm with them, you know, hey, we have this opportunity coming up. If we're going to do this concrete work, you know, now's the time to work in conjunction. And so I got with members of the board, told them that we're thinking about this, and I've been working with them as well. And so really what we're looking at here immediately is about $46,830 worth of concrete work. This is also going to be somewhat decorative, but it's also replacing broken concrete that goes up towards the slide area. But if we're going to do that work at this time, I would like to make it look as nice as possible. And that way it really kind of gives the pool an appearance. And, you know, we really need to make some improvements to the pool. We have quite a bit of money available in the ARPA funds. Dawn is going to later on this week kind of figure out how much is left there. I was thinking more around 90,000 is what we have left in ARPA funds there. we're showing a little bit more than that, so we're gonna get to the bottom of that this week. But either way, we have plenty of money to accommodate this project and really make some drastic improvements to that pool. And so my recommendation for this time is to approve J&B contractors to complete concrete work at the aquatic park, in the amount of $46,830.
What kind of time frame?
So what we're looking at here is the timeframe can be kind of short. So I'd really like to get that north side, which is really causing us a lot of problems done. I said that I want that to be high on the priority list. I said, if we start dragging into the spring, getting into pool season, some of this work needs to be completed in the fall. We can get past the pool season and complete some of the other work in the fall. But really, we need to get the structural stuff done first. And then we can move on from there. And so really the time frame is going to be, the north side of the 4 foot's gonna be our kind of our number one concern here. Since I believe that's causing us the most problems right now. And then we can prioritize these projects out from there, you know, even if that goes into the fall, if they can get it all done in the spring, great, but you know, if we have to wait till after pool season on some of those, you know, we can do that too. And as far as the rest of the projects that we have outlined at the pool, I believe that those are things that we can budget for in subsequent years and take care of that, not necessarily through ARPA funds, but through just our regular budget. These are things that are causing major problems, but these are things that we're going to have to deal with sooner than later.
And if we don't use the ARPA funds, we lose them?
We lose them. Yes, go ahead.
So the remaining ARPA funds have been allocated to pool upgrades. So they can't be used anywhere else. So we had to allocate everything by the end of 2024, and we have to expend that money by the end of 2026.
You just answered my question.
Yes, it's kind of good. I mean,
Because you don't want to buy a tractor, we're.
Yes, I was.
I know, and I know at the end of 2026 seems like a long time, but it'll sneak up on us. I know that. That sounds much time.
There's probably not enough money to buy those diving platforms in. You said those are kind of expensive.
Yeah, we actually do have enough money to buy those diving platforms. I figured out. And so like I said, I've been working with the Iowa Swim Team Board. And what I've come up with, those diving platforms are about $2,400 a piece. They're not cheap for sure, but that comes out to about $14,500 for the 6 lanes. And there is plenty of money in those ARPA funds to accommodate that.
So that's something we try to do this year too.
That's something that we would want to do in conjunction with it, yes.
As many kids as we have with the swim team, that would be a nice thing.
It's a very popular, program.
So do those just do they just put a hole like in the ground when they do the concrete, then it
Yeah.
anchors in and they can pull them in and out?
Yeah.
I think they're there now, aren't they? There's
Yeah,
like those little square
There's a
plates.
square plates, and so there's anchors there now, but what the problem with those were is that the concrete wasn't strong enough to hold it. And so what the platforms that we've been looking around, so I kind of did a little bit of looking around online. I presented an option to the Iowa Swim Teams, and they're very similar to what, you know, surrounding pools have, Sabetha, Fall City. Our pool is 4 foot at the start, which our starting platforms are gonna have to be a little bit shorter to accommodate that. And so we'll have 18-inch platforms instead of normal, I think 30-inch platforms is what some of the other pools have. But it can accommodate starting platforms. And, like I said, came up with a good option there. It's kind of, in these platforms, they can range anywhere from $1,000 to $6,000. I mean, there's just a wide range of these, but really, I think that our best option is kind of what we found. Like I said, very similar. It gives our youth an advantage, you know, it lets them practice on these, you know, because that's always been one of the, I think, long-standing problems that we've had with our swim team is that our youth are at a disadvantage because they don't get to practice on these starting platforms. So when they go to places that do have them, they don't know quite what to do. You know, they're just not accustomed to it.
I think I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve J&B contractors to do concrete work at the aquatic park in the amount of $46,830.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the concrete work at the aquatic park. Any further discussion?
All in favor?
Uh,
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Moving to item 4, the wastewater ADB parts update. Dominic or Bruce?
About the UV line at the wastewater plant, and I'll read what I got, because it's pretty good. As you all know, wastewater is a nasty product. The wastewater contains several wastewater-borne disease pathogens. It takes several steps of treating wastewater to get a good effluent product, which leads to creeks, rivers, possible contact with people upstream, downstream. Every step of treating wastewater is important, but not all of them are a disinfecting process. The last process of treating wastewater is the UV ultralight system. This piece of equipment is very important, but the most neglected. And the purpose of the UV is to kill the genetics of the diseased and microorganisms and pathogens, which helps them from reproducing downstream. UV, or unlike other disinfecting systems, UV is an efficient way of disinfecting because it doesn't include any costly chemicals. I'd like to stay on top of maintaining this piece of equipment because it helps the budget in the future. We got some quotes for the financial considerations. The rehab of Bank B of the UV disinfecting system would include 24 lamps, 50 seals and O-rings, and 5 ballasts from Trojan Technologies for the price of $17,167.10.
So you have to do it every year, right?
Yes, there are two banks out there. Each bank has 24 lamps. The lamp hours in a year use up, and the bulbs for 24 are $382 a piece. So this is something that has to be budgeted every year. We've gotten, it's an intricate system out there. So we've gotten with Ray Lindsay Corporation. They're the ones that put it in when the plant was built, but it's from Trojan in Canada. And so a guy named Matt Baldridge, he's been, since I've been at the plant, he's been at Ray Lindsay. He's came in and gave us evaluations on what we need. We have to budget every year for 24 lamps, which will do one side. And just the lamps are $382. And we need 5 ballasts because 5 ballasts are out on this side that Bruce is talking about. And those are at 1,600 a piece. So that's where the 17,000.
You guys install that, or does this, nobody do it?
We're gonna have, Ray Lindsay do it. Because, I call it the barbecue grill. I don't know if you're ever down there. It's very intricate. None of us are qualified to be inside that. It's the brain of that whole system. And then now we just put in the flow meter, so that's hooked to that too. So, me and Brad and Bruce sat down one day and thought it was just better to have Ray Lindsay come and give us a evaluation, several times, 3 times a year. But we have to budget for the bulbs on each side, bulbs and sleeves. It automatically wipes every so many minutes to get the film off of it, to keep the E. coli down, which is in our permit. It's a pretty intricate system.
So is this $17,167? Is that including labor? Yes.
Yes. It's gonna cost, well, like I said, they're 382, at least 24 bulbs every year we have to budget for. because they're out of lamp hours. And once they, I'll have to tell you, once the lights get dimmer, the E. coli builds. So every year we have to budget for lamps. We just had a full upgrade in the last 3 years. That system's 19 years old. In the last, 3 years, we've upgraded A and B, both sides of it, with new wires, and sleeves and all that.
And I'd like to add that, you know, in discussion with Dominic and Bruce, what they've done is they've got these, UV banks on a maintenance program that they're going to maintain. And so although at one time they could have been very neglected, the goal here is to have these as one of the least neglected, components of our system. And so really that's what that, maintenance program is, and this is the results of that. I know from the financial side, as far as that's why we boosted up the, amount that they have available for equipment maintenance. It's to accommodate, areas just like what we're talking about here tonight. So they do have plenty of money available within their budget this year to accommodate this.
Is there any other way of doing it?
I have changed the bulbs. I never did surgery, but, those $400 bulbs in your hand, I broke some before. I mean, in my years of doing it,
Well, I'm saying, is there
As
a
in
whole other
treating?
system, like,
Right.
if it's 20-year-old technology and we're feeding $17,000 a year into it,
It's the technology that we have right now. I mean, the UV technology, there's different companies out there that do it. It's all proprietary. And so when you go with one, that's why, you know, we have to buy the things through Trojan. We did try at one point, it was some years back. I think Dominic would probably remember this. We did try to go with a different brand of bulbs, and that we had very, not really good results from that at all. Had a lot of damage.
we
The
ruined the,
sockets were all damaged.
yeah, we ruined them by buying aftermarkets.
Really, when we went through and we did the UV upgrades to the banks, most of that was upgraded to the modern technology when we did that in the past 3 years. We did one of the banks last year, and I think we had done one of the other banks 2 years before that.
Yes.
Is that correct?
How many banks?
There's two, and there's 24 lamps each, and there's a sleeve over the lamp. The sleeves are, and that's just a piece of glass. They're 200 and something a piece, but we were instructed to use aftermarkets probably about 5 or 6 years ago, when we ruined the sockets. Yes, it is a very expensive, because when they built the plant, they could have went with different ones, like, chlorine disinfection, but it was an expensive system, and those lamps just keep going up, yes.
And we do need to sustain compliance with our.
Yes, this is, you could almost, well, I wouldn't drink the water because it kills the E. coli. It's the last step of this. It's the last, but this is going to a creek, which is going to wells and they are drinking it downstream.
I promise you wouldn't want to drink that water, but it is very clean. And I think it comes out
After
That's the last
unpalatable.
point of disinfection.
I used to do a lot of mudding in my four-wheeler, and I always thought it was mud. Ow.
Dave was always budgeting 10,000, but the bulbs just keep going up. So, but we do have new wires and stuff that we needed in the last couple of upgrades.
is this motion, I mean, it doesn't sound like we have any other choices. Is this motion good enough, or do we need like the full price in it?
Let's just have a motion to, purchase the, equipment from Trojan for $17,167.10, and have Ray Lindsay do the installation.
I'll make that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to
Who seconded?
Dave.
Dave,
Any further discussion? Not Don?
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 5, resolution 2025-7.
So resolution 2025-7, this is in response to a vehicle located at 200 Climbing Street. This vehicle has been into city court. And so this resolution is just allowing us to abate that. To abate that car, to have that car towed, if they fail to comply with our, getting that car up to date on its tags.
This is a rental property, correct?
I believe so, yes.
I just, has the owner of the house actually been notified?
I know the owner of the car.
I mean, it is the owner of the car.
Does it matter if it's in the street or not?
No, it does not matter.
It's in the driveway. It looked like it was working, but it does have expired tags, so I don't know much more than that about it.
I went by this evening.
I probably wouldn't have noticed it unless I was really looking for an expired tag. So that's my 2 cents on it. It's not in the street.
Apparently they've been dealing with this since December. And it doesn't matter if it's in the street or if it's in a driveway, private property. Taking all the steps, and if they're not getting anywhere, then it's action.
And apparently there's also a failure to appear notice too. The owner of the car.
Yeah, if this were the first time we came across it, then I would say we need to do a bit more, but it seems like we've taken every step, so.
I just don't know if us as a city needs to get involved with it, or if was it like a municipal failure to appear, or?
So this is instead of, there's many steps that could have been taken here. And so what we decided here was instead of going down the road of, like, say, arrest or anything like that, is that this is what the city code does allow us to have the vehicle towed at the expense of the owner, and if they want the vehicle back, they pay the tow company at that point, and it just allows us to abate the code issue that without going into those extreme dangers. That's what we're trying to do.
I think it just comes down to, I mean, bigger picture, we have to decide what direction we're taking as a city as far as our code enforcement. Because I'm sure there's other cars that we could get on this too, but for me, the point is, this started in December, we've tried, so we need to take the next step, and then I said we need to continue to discuss it as commission, what role are we gonna take with code enforcement?
I'd like to make a motion.
You wanna read yours? Go ahead.
Motion.
Go right ahead.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2025-7, finding a violation of the Health and Welfare Code, Article 3, located at 200 Pawnee Street in the city of Hiawatha, Kansas, acknowledging service of notice of violation and failure to appeal the notice, directing the abatement of the condition that caused the violation, and assessing the cost of abatement.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 2025-7. Any further discussion?
I just don't feel like I have enough information on what's going on. That's my whole view.
Did you see the email? Just now?
Yeah, that's, it doesn't matter. I don't feel like I know enough.
Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Okay.
Motion passed 4-1. Moving on to communications, the February judges report. Anything you needed to add there, Brent?
Nothing I need to add to that, no.
Okay, then next category to the department head comments. Administration, Brad?
So what Donna's been working on for the past, I would say, better part of a year since I've been in the office, is she has been working on bank recs for a long time. And so what we had to do, we had to make sure that we were up to date on all of our bank recs. I would really like to let it be known that that she's all caught up with all those bank recs corrects now. We're all up to date on everything. We have our audit coming up here in April, and she spent a great deal of time getting prepared for that audit. And so I'd like to commend Dawn for all the work that she's done. It's a tremendous amount of work. A lot of hours were put into that, so we're in a good place starting now and moving forward. We can keep up with that, and so, like I said, we're in a really good place right now as far as where we're at financially. As far as what else is going on in the administration department, we have a big challenge with the meters right now, and so I'd like to give a little update on that. But what is going on around town right now is Jadwin Construction is going around and they're cutting holes in the meter lids, and that's going to accommodate the antennas for the new meters that are supposed to be shipped at the end of this month. And so that will save a lot of time as far as the administration has to go. We've really spent the last 2 weeks going through the water meters, getting them read, making sure everything's correct, sending people back, just checking things out. And so this is gonna save, I know, city staff a tremendous amount of time. And that's what's in, so we should start seeing those water meters installed within the next, I'd say 3 weeks, will start being installed. We'll start on the north end of town, work our way south. That's kind of how our books were set up originally. And so that, as far as the administration goes, that's kind of the update that I have for this month anyway, and open any questions.
Questions?
We thank you for all your hard work.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay, we'll move on to law enforcement, so chief.
Work, we've been on vacation for the last week.
Hey, she came back.
I was thinking of those meetings.
Yeah. I gave you a list of a lot of things we got going on. I did promote Officer Lorenzo Mendez to our sergeant. He's been here 5 years, 7 years experience. He's been attending training for supervisory leadership, so trying to give him more of a stake in the department and grow him as an officer. We have been messing with dog tags and getting people registered, because within the last couple of years, we had a dog bite. The dog wasn't registered, they didn't have shots, and it turned into a big ordeal. So we're trying to proactively find dogs. I see them all the time and hear them when I'm walking, so I make note, and if they're not registered, we're sending them letters to say, please register your dogs, get your shots, and come in, or they're gonna get a citation. Our new officers have started week 3 of his 14-week training class at KLETC, so 11 weeks and so many days, we'll have him back. We did have training at the high school just the other day, and we broke one thing. We had the highway patrols special response team come in, and they did a lot of things with the response and assessment and intervention for an active shooter. The majority of our officers went, and other officers from other agencies in Northeast Kansas attended. Forensic computer, we got with a grant on the JAG grant. It came in, Officer Shoemaker had errors, we sent it back. It's repaired and in service now, so we've got that up and running. And due to transition of staff, we lost our Allison certified instructors for the community and the schools. And Captain Williams and Investigator Shoemaker attended the class. Now they're our new instructors for Alice for the schools and other entities that would request them to teach it or active shooter incidents. And that's most of what I've got, unless anyone has any questions.
Glad to see you have that active shooter training.
Yeah, it's always kind of fun too, when you're playing cops and robbers.
Yes, everybody involved.
Yes.
Did have to chuckle at the text that went out. Don't be alarmed.
Yeah.
All caps.
Well, they had
Why did you put it out though?
They had to put placards on every door, so
Uh-huh.
nobody could come in without knowing, hey, something's going on here, because they were shooting blanks and everything else. And sending issues around, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, chief. Brad, did you have anything to add for Parks and Rec?
Yeah, I'll give a quick update for Parks and Rec. I spent a great deal of time going around to all the different parks about a week and a half ago. was able to talk to Stacy quite a bit last week. Kind of went over some of the things that we've seen. I know that one of our big push right now is to get everything cleaned up from the winter time. And on Birding Park, we have some cleanup to do from the public works side. And so I have been working on that. We talked about many different things, many different opportunities that we have with parks, challenges that we have, things that we need to fix. And so we really, I've been kind of focused on getting those parks back into, you know, a really good shape for the summertime for the youth and everybody. Work with Stacy on that. She has a lot of good ideas. And so that's kind of the direction that we're going in parks right now. We're just now starting to get to that busy season. I believe that soccer starts this Saturday. And so that's really, we have a lot of participation in the soccer programs here. And so also seasonal staff, interviews were done last week. We have all of our seasonal staff in place. Getting the pool ready. I mean, we have a lot of work to do with the pool as far as so Public Works also helps with that. I'm probably gonna be involved a little bit with that myself. I have a lot of knowledge on the pool, so I want to pass that along as much as possible. Get everything ready to go for the summertime and hopefully have a really successful summer season.
So what are we gonna do about those lights out at Bruning? I didn't notice those, the three poles that just,
So those 3 poles out of Bruning that we have, what I got with Brad Seaborg, and he got with a company from St. Joseph, and he brought them over, looked at the poles, we pulled up the plans, I got the plans from BG Consultants to see how far those bases went in the ground, see what kind of poles those could accommodate. Luckily for us, the bases go 8 feet in the ground of concrete, so they go very deep, and so they'll accommodate poles. And what happened there was, those poles have been gone for probably a very long time, not long after the original work was done in Bruning. There was a problem with the base of the pole of the welds, and the wind just blew them down. And they've never been replaced. So I got with Brad, said, hey, we need to get these replaced. You know, we need to get all the lights on one eye, so that way we have lights out there right now that are just on all the time, because the eyes have gone bad. And so we'd like to get everything on one eye so they all come on and go off at the same time. Simple things that we can do to really improve the appearance of the park.
and are the welds bad on the other ones?
The welds, and so the welds that we've inspected them, and right now everything's fine. I think that we just got a defective 3. However, what we would like to do is if we're going to replace the ones, start budgeting to replace all of them. It does concern me. And so, but I really want to get the 3 replaced this year if possible. And then we can start working on the other ones as well.
Is there a type of warranty on them or anything?
There was at the time, but it's long out of warranty now. Yeah.
Can those be repaired at all?
And they're missing.
No, and we actually still have some of the poles. Yeah, we still have some of those poles. I mean, we talked about welding them back, but with the liability that we have, I think it's better that we just replace them. And so we do have a good opportunity to replace those. The wiring's easy on that. That's something that city crews can handle. I mean, it's not really anything. And, you know, kind of long-term, same company, we started looking at, like, say, LED replacements for the incandescent lights that we have in ball fields. That's gonna be very expensive. You know, I think a couple years back, that was like $30,000 a field. And so that's something that we'd have to talk about budgeting in the future for. But it's not something that needs to be done right now, but we're also working in that direction as well.
It's 50.
Yeah, 50, and yeah, it's really, prices are crazy.
Didn't you tell me those wires are still live?
Those wires are still live. So the wires coming out of the bases are still live. We have about 18 layers of tape that's on the outside, but it's a safety concern. And that's why I've been so adamant, like, hey, we need to get this done, you know, ASAP.
I'm assuming the skate park is on this list.
Yeah, the boards at the skate park, I addressed that with Stacy this last week. That's one of the things I addressed with her. One of the first things I brought up, boards at the bottom of the fence. the water fountain, everything like that at the skate park, so yes, that is also on that list.
Well, and those boards, even if you put a 1x12 up,
Mhm.
instead of the 2x4s that have been there in the past, because the boards come up and they hit, so the higher you've got that protection, protect the fence,
Mhm.
the better. If you could go with a 12-inch board around the inside.
That makes a lot of sense.
Shooting skateboards.
Yeah. we should do skateboards. For people.
Yeah.
Like I used to. Until this.
Those are
And soccer on Saturday, so that means cold and rain or
Yeah,
snow.
soccer on Saturday. Unfortunately, there's rain in the forecast for Saturdays.
How about the fence?
The fence out of Rooney, I got with, Public Works about that. That is going to be repaired before ball season starts.
Okay, anything else? For parks? And then we move on to the code enforcement. So did you have anything to add to that? I see that we have a summary report.
I have your
Oh,
summary
I'm,
report.
I'm sorry, I skipped you, Dominic. I'm gonna keep on here instead. Dave saved me, I moved ahead and.
I have, the street department report, Supervisor Sean Babb. His report is replace no parking signs on First Street, replace the school crossing signs from yellow to high intensity green on First Street. Added 83 to holes on shoulders on West Oregon. They bladed West Oregon. He thought that was in, bad shape. They put a new tarp on the Freightliner. The Little Dodge Dakota, they brought it out of storage, so there's more, vehicles. They pushed the brush pile up every week. Started on cleaning off the top of the riprap pile, out there at the burn pit. Building inspection, gathering materials needed for fixing problems the inspector found on our, Department of Labor. We gotta get going on that because that's due in May, so he started on his part of it. Beginning asphalt patching, coal patch, that's, yes, Sean said that's definitely. Starting marking areas for summer asphalt patching will begin as soon as hot asphalt starts getting made. New cutting edges on the motor grader, I saw him have that off the other day, for spreading asphalt and repairing gravel roads, sewer and water locations, and truck maintenance. Okay, the, water department, report by Ryan Smith. We had two 12-inch water main breaks. I don't know if any of you guys were on that 12 inches is a lot of water. We read 1,050 meters by hand. Evans Well Rehab, the submersible is in place out at Evans. That main well is up and running. 65 locates, 6 leaks fixed, reseeded grass seed in people's yards, from fixing water leaks. Fixed 2 meter boxes, did maintenance at the water plant. Marked meters 1 inch at Hatfield and 3 and 3rd and Shawnee for the new water meter project. And they are cutting the lids right now. Fixed 6 globes from the windstorm, fixed school signal lights, had 17 shutoffs. And Ryan headed to the conference this week and maintenance on the vacuum truck, but it is up and running now. And, I have to say, these are very good reports and I'm very proud of those guys. Any questions?
I'm glad you mentioned the burn pits. That just made me want to remind people to please only just do the, trees and limbs. I went out there to dump a ton of leaves and there was somebody had thrown out corrugated plastic stuff from a roof out there and some other just junk pallets that shouldn't be in there. And it's just disappointing because I mean, I know that the community appreciates that, so we have to make sure to keep reminding people not to.
And it's, if it hasn't been pushed up, Sean said, it is full down there, so they gotta get the excavator out there to dig that out so we can push new in there. He said, cause KDHE, has a problem with it. It is full right now with, ashes. But they're gonna take the excavator out there and dig that out so we can push it up. That's why it hasn't been pushed up, a lot. Like,
You ever thought about, I'm sure we have, cameras out there at that burn pile?
I
I
think,
know you can't because of the internet service, but potential deer cams or something, so we can take some enforcement action on illegal dumping.
yeah, we did that before, but someone's gotta, I mean, that's something someone's gonna have to, what's the word? Oh, that wasn't the word, but something like that. We did it before.
And we can also look at maybe some different solutions for out there as well, as far as enforcement goes. Kind of see what technology is available. I know there's always been advancements in, what's available for technology, so we can kind of see what we can do as far as enforcement goes out there.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be something you have to check every week, but if you go
Yeah.
out there and there's obvious, people's put corrugated plastics and this, that, and the other, you could review the camera and take some action on it.
Yeah,
I think once people started to have some action taken, that would put a stop to it.
I agree. I think if we can go out there and maybe do some daily checks and kind of get a time frame of when that could have been dumped out there, I think that then it's easier to go back and review that and see, possibly take some action.
I don't think anybody wants to lose
No,
No,
burn
No,
pile,
'cause, I mean, we
Yeah.
opened that
big asset to the city.
in '07 during the ice storm, because, that's when they opened it to the public back then, when everyone had so many limbs. So it's been open since '07 to everybody. Yeah, I'd hate to see it shut down.
Yeah.
thank you, Dominic.
Thank you.
Okay, now Brad, we can jump to code enforcement. I mean, I said there's the report that Dave submitted. I don't know if there's anything else.
I don't have anything to add at this time.
Oh, Bruce.
Huh?
Oh, excuse me, I was gonna let the sewer do his own,
Oh,
so.
well,
Forgot.
Sorry,
Bruce.
I like how you just be quiet there, Bruce. I got.
Just give me.
I just did little highlights of it, communicating with Nolan from Olson Engineering and, Urban Build Construction. Communicate with Fairview Mills with product in the sewer, and, we took an upstream sample and a downstream sample, so I think they got their answer probably. And then, we removed and installed Clucky's pump. That was a nightmare because we took it out. Took it out and then we got it back, and then the mechanical seal was broke in an hour and a half, so we had to take it back out and send it back. So then, we're in the process of hooking up the country club for irrigation. That contract starts April 1st. Placed T-post around a manhole that was covered over there by the North RV Park, BC properties or whatever. And then, we always take monthly samples, and then we gotta record the data on the Keens, website, KDHE website before the 28th. Sewer jetted up there at Niggas Liquor Store. It wasn't our problem, but we ran the sewer jet. Maybe there was something on the tap. Let's see, barricaded a sinkhole over on 410 Miami. It's a homeowner issue, and Dave's got that. Contacted Rainbow for internet service out at the North Plant. That's because of all the new system communication from Pedrati. Helped read meters, switched out polymer barrels, and getting quotes for 2 new pumps. or not two new pumps, but two pumps we have that need to be fixed. Contacted some, got some quotes for back trailer, or for sucking out the country club basin. And that's it. Sewer inspection at 710 Miami. That's about it. We got a new guy, Drake Wilkie, showing him, trying to get him trained up. He's at KRWA right now, so.
Sure, Bill, get anything done out there?
Say what?
Urban Bill making any
They were
progress?
there, they were there today, but, they're moving along slowly.
They don't have a grid system in, right?
No. They're thinking about the scaffolding and cutting a hole in the roof. They're waiting on material.
Just thinking about
Yeah. That's all I've got.
Thank you.
it. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to governing body comments. Only thing I want to add is Brad, I do appreciate having the department head, comments like this, once a month. I think I like seeing everybody here that can do that. And so I appreciate that. We can keep that going on. It's just, I learn a lot more when you guys talk to us. So that's all I have. So Dave,
I don't have anything.
Tom,
I don't have anything.
Brian,
Nothing.
Laura.
Nothing.
Then, next one is going to executive session, so I will make a motion that we go into executive session. I make a motion that the city commission recess into executive session in the conference room for how long, Brad?
5 minutes.
For 5 minutes to discuss land located within the city, the justification for closing the meeting for the preliminary discussion, the acquisition of real property. The open meeting will resume at 6:37 in the commission chambers, and to include the commission and the city administrator. Anybody else?
No.
Second, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Six 41, like to make a motion that the city commission is called back into an open meeting. The commission took no action during executive session. Second?
Second?
Oh, I don't have to.
No, somebody second. Who seconded?
It's fine.
Lori. Okay, Dawn?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passes 5-0. Now, I'd like to make a motion that the city commission recess an executive session in the conference room for a period of
10 minutes.
10 minutes to discuss matters regarding an issue of potential city personnel. The justification for closing the meeting is to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. The open meeting will resume at 6:52, and the commission chambers, and to include the commission and the city administrator.
Correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Dawn?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. Make a motion that at 6:57, the city commission is called back into an open meeting. The commission took no binding action during the executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0. I make a move, we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn, Don?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion passed 5-0.
Thank you.